Welcome everyone to a different kind of video. Today we're going to be answering your questions regarding Brave Frontier ReCoded. Top left, I have Valdrin, one of our co-leaders in the coding
Hey
department.
everyone.
And
Hello
top
everyone.
right, sorry.
Sorry. Sorry, Nate.
And top right we have Blue Arc, our other co-lead coder.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so to get ourselves started, we're going to be working through all the platforms that you guys have left questions on for us. We'll be answering questions from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and the Discord. To start off, we'll be starting with the YouTube questions. And Blue, we'll start off with you. If we recode the global version, are there going to be other languages available?
Yeah, so far we've been starting with English for languages while we get the basic game put together. However, once the foundation is in place, I'd expect that localization will follow afterwards for all content going forward.
Terrific. Val, question for you. Is Brave Frontier ReCoded real?
Oh yes, absolutely. We are creating a solid foundation for the game, but we have to keep in mind that this will not be real if Yumi decides to send a cease and desist letter. So sorry everyone, but this is a possibility in the future. But yes, it is real.
Alrighty. Next question. This is amazing. Lily making me cry here. Is there any chance Brave Frontier the Last Summoner will be revived? Question for you, Blue.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the assets for Brave Frontier the Last Summoner were saved before the game was shut down. Therefore, I think it'd be unlikely for a full revival, at least with this team focusing on the main Brave Frontier game for the foreseeable future. That said, I don't think some sort of reference to Brave Frontier the Last Summoner is totally off the table. I could see there being potential units and quests partially ported over as a nod to the game. Do keep in mind that this is a possibility and not a promise, though. Personally, I haven't played Brave Frontier the Last Summoner, so I'm not sure what the gameplay was like.
Alrighty. Next question. Starting off, when the game gets published, what will be the starting point? What content are we on? What units are going to be the best? Or are we going to be starting from scratch? To sum up all those questions into one, it'll be as if the game just launched day one, so Mistral will be the first piece of content that Summers can explore. We would like to have Juggernaut, Demon Abaddon, and Creator Maxwell all available before we push out an official version 1.0 release. A beta of sorts would be nice in the future, but there's still no comment on that at the time. But once we are available to give you guys more info on that, we will absolutely do so. Starting off now with Facebook questions. Another question for you, Blue. Can we play the game with the same account?
Unlikely, since we don't have access to original account data. We just have copies of the assets.
Okay. As Blue mentioned, we are not affiliated at all with Ngumi or Lim, so we do not have any such data. And as Aldrin mentioned, we are at risk of a cease and desist, so furthering our point that we have no ties with them and that we are on thin ice, as they say. So we are doing every step we can to try and reduce our heat, in a sense. Next question, how would summoning work? Summoning will primarily function the same. 5 gems for one summon, 200 honor points for one honor summon. As far as the other ways to summon go, like resummons and discounted summons for legacy units, those will all be looked into in the future, but as far as the launch of the game goes, primarily it'll be 5 gems for 1 summon and 200 honor points for 1 honor summon. Later on we may do events and stuff for increasing honor points gained like before, but as of right now it'll be the original rates when the game first launched. I believe that does it for Facebook. Next questions will be from Twitter. And as mentioned before, should we have the expectation that Alin Gumi could take down the project at any time? And if so, would there be a world in which the game would still be available by some sort of deal or negotiation? As before, it's very much a possibility. We are looking into deals and negotiations with the owners of Brave Frontier and potential employees of Gumi and Alin to try and reach out to those contacts. We still have yet to hear back from a official response regarding that. We are, however, prepared to start a crowdfund for the community to raise up $50,000 in USD, which would translate over into 2.3 million yen. And while we are uncertain if this would be enough to outright buy the rights for Brave Frontier as a whole, we hope that this would be enough to at least give us the license to keep ReCoded alive and continue the project going forward. Next question for you, Val. We will be able to have units that have been revealed later in the game, like 3-4 years after the game was released, directly when the game comes out, or are we going to have to wait for patches?
Yes, it's really interesting. To be true, to decide if a unit will be available depends on multiple factors. First and foremost, we aim to restrict the summonable units according to the user progression in the story. So some units or some evolutions won't be available before we programmed the parts of the story giving us access to the said units. Then we want to keep the game well balanced. This implies that a part of the team will change the statistics of almost every unit, and this work will need time to be processed. And finally, the battle fetchers will be progressively added to the game, and some units will require new battle fetcher, hence the programming process would slow down the amount of available units across the time. So we will try to release new units according to the original patches if the 3 previous steps allow it. We will do our best.
Terrific. Okay, next question. Will the game be available in multiple languages? Localization is going to be one of our top priorities when it comes to ReCoded. We are currently looking into a localization team at the moment for adding subtitles in other languages for our monthly update videos. We would also like to include those members of the localization team in any future updates that come to the game. That way everybody is on the same page as far as story content goes. You'll be able to enjoy Brave Frontier ReCoded in the language most comfortable for you, as well as any updates we have going in the near future. Next question. Will it be possible to acquire other units from Brave Frontier 2? Currently, we are looking into integrating Brave Frontier 2 units. There's a lot going on as far as what we have available with Brave Frontier 2. We are currently looking into rebalancing all of the characters, seeing how they would fit into the ReCoded world as well as into our new balance system. And from what we can tell right now, it looks like we'll be having a good majority, if not all, the ReCoded, the Brave Frontier units in ReCoded. So we will give you more updates on how those units will be involved in ReCoded in the near future. Next question. Last question for the Twitter. Will we be able to play Brave Frontier ReCoded on the phone? Everybody can jump in on this one if they'd like. My input is we're starting the game initially to be built in a web browser. That way, as long as you have any sort of connection to the internet and a browser source, you'll be able to play Brave Frontier ReCoded whether you're on a desktop or any mobile device. Val Blue, any comment?
I mean, because we build in Godot, it doesn't really. It opens up the opportunity for potential other distribution methods, but as Neil mentioned, we'll be doing browser for now.
Yes, and the game will be available to be played on phone because to touch your screen is equivalent to use a mouse, so it will be already available to play it on phone.
Alrighty. That will do it for the Twitter questions. Moving on to the Reddit. Blue, question for you. Will the game be live connected to a server?
Yep, the current plan, at least for the initial release, is to have the game posted as a website and connected to a server that we will control.
Alrighty, and next question, what will be the system with gems? Gems will primarily be staying the same. We'll be giving them out in all the ways that we used to before, like quests, first clears, dungeons, arena. Later on down the line, we would eventually like to integrate those into the multiplayer modes, given we're able to figure out how to do those, such as Frontier Hunter, Raid, and Arena. We will also be giving players additional gems on top of the other methods that they'll be earning them, such as a daily login bonus just for logging into the game on top of our monthly login campaigns that will be running progressively throughout the year. So as far as how many gems a summoner can expect to earn in a month, we are estimated that an average summoner can earn anywhere between 60 to 70 gems just from simply logging in. A average summoner that plays fairly regularly can earn somewhere between 100 to 130 gems a month, and a more advanced player, putting more time into the game than normally, would net somewhere around 150 plus gems. So we really want to make sure that everyone is satisfied with the amount of gems that are being given out in this new free-to-play model. But we also do want to keep the value of gems in place. Next question for you, Val. Do we have a Patreon? Would love to support y'all down the road.
Oh, first, thanks a lot for your support, but we cannot accept money due to legal purposes. So it is not possible to create a Patreon in order to earn money. But moreover, the team members work for the pleasure to play again to Brave Frontier and to make the community dream again with the best gacha game ever. So your kind messages are the best support you can give us. Would you like to add something, Neil?
Yeah, it really does mean a lot seeing all the comments in the YouTube, the Reddit post, the Discord server. It really does drive us to keep going, and seeing everyone's excitement as we release another update, it just makes us even more excited to give you guys more updates. And me personally, as much as I wish we could just tell you everything now, it wouldn't be as exciting if we didn't build it up for you guys. So there's a lot to come, and again, just keep all the love and support coming, and we'll do our best to provide you guys an amazing Brave Frontier experience. Anything you'd like to add, Blue?
No, yeah, just sharing the sentiment that I like seeing all the support, all the excitement, and we'll do our best to live up to that excitement, all that hype.
Alrighty. Moving on to the Discord questions. Have a lot to go through here. Are there any plans to improve, change some of the achievement systems, mainly the lackluster rewards compared to how difficult and grindy some used to be? For example, a full year of logging in only used to net 5 gems in the original game. So before, I honestly didn't know this myself. 5 gems for a whole year of logging in? Yeah, that is pretty low for the rewards. We'll definitely consider upping the rewards and making it to where when you guys show your loyalty to the game for having consistent streaks like that, like a 100-day login streak, or a year login streak, we will definitely compensate you for such an incredible achievement. More than 5 gems, we promise. Next question. I know you're going to rework all of the units like the starters, making them viable in later Omni metas, but what about units that get to a maximum of 5, 6, or 7 stars? How much will you rework them? And also, with which criteria will you choose to rework those units? Very good question. This is primarily something that will be decided later on down the line as we get more comfortable with attack data and learning how we can properly adjust those values on the fly. As far as rebalancing characters go, the only batch of units we currently have our eyes set on are mitigation units, as we would like defense to be a more primary stat in the game. So, for example, units that were once doing mitigation for 50% for 2 turns will now likely end up being 25% mitigation for 2 turns. Again, the numbers are all very up in the air and we're still figuring everything out, but as far as which units we have our eyes set on currently, mitigation units are going to be the first batch of units to get a hard set of nerfs. For other units though that peak out around 5, 6, or 7 star potential, we have talked about possibly adding in an additional evolution line for those units to see them see a potential Omni or 7-star potential. But ultimately this comes down to us having artists on the team. So if you are a talented artist in pixel art or the Brave Frontier art style and would like to contribute your time and work to the project, we would love to have you on board. There is going to be a link down below in the description with our Discord. You can click in there and drop a resume in the team recruitment channel. Alright, next question for you, Blue. Single player, offline, EXE release, mod support. What are your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, so the one question is, like, will we get things like single player, an offline mode, alternative distribution methods, or the option for mods? The short answer is that no in the short term, something to discuss in the long term when more things are implemented. The longer answer is that I've personally thought about doing some of these, where people could, like, self-host their own servers with their own content and their own accounts. But this isn't really something I've discussed with the broader team as of yet, and if we do decide to implement it, it'll be something far, far into the future when we've actually implemented the base game first. There are also other technical considerations that we have to think about, such as when there's more than one server, things like versioning the client and server with respect to data compatibility, authentication if you're hosting your own server, and how people would add their own content to their own servers. If we did put in a self-hosting feature, I could see it, the initial server being the live server, like the main game server where they have all the social features like friends and raids, and there could be an option to self-host your own server as a pseudo offline mode, just for yourself or with your friends. I expect the account data to stay on the server that it was created on and not transfer across servers. Again, just to summarize, these are just ideas of what we could do, and not promises of whether or not we're actually going to do these at all, or when this would be done if we just did decide to do them.
Alrighty. Next question. How possible will it be to complete the Pokedex? Will we be able to farm enough gems to be able to obtain every character reasonably? So as far as the Pokedex goes, our unit guide entry, which is what we are referring to as the Pokedex in this matter, we do plan on having the unit guide entry be fully available, with the limitations of units that will be exclusive to timed events, such as Vortex units. So in the event of that, you will be missing out on obtaining those units for a set time. As far as not being able to obtain the units forever, we are not looking into anything like that. We would like all units to be available from all regions of the game, whether they were from the global server, the JP server, or the EU server, as well as the other Brave Frontier titles like Brave Frontier 2. So in the event of such, it may be a potential collaboration dungeon that we do. We have talked with some other artists in the Brave Frontier community of potential collabs, where those units may not be obtainable after said collaborations are over, but as far as all Brave Frontier base game characters, they will all be available in some way, shape, or form, whether that being through summoning through a dungeon or acquiring them through a quest. So yes, all units will be available in the game. Next question. Would you guys implement Omni Evolutions of certain characters that didn't get one, like Dilma, Falma, Priscilla, Lyra, and so on? So as mentioned before, this all ultimately comes down to us having a art department that can look into possibilities like this, and we hope that with some of the updates that we put out from the art team, that'll inspire other artists to come forward from the community to give us more content to share with you guys. So as mentioned before, if you are an artist, pixel artist, or proficient in the Brave Frontier art style, feel free to join our Discord down below. We would love to have you. Drop a resume in the team recruitment channel, and one of us on the team will get back to you. Question for you, Blue. Since the game is going to be playable in a browser, do you plan on having a responsive interface so that it can make use of the whole screen if it runs on a computer?
Yeah, currently it only supports portrait mode, and will retain that aspect ratio in portrait mode as you resize the screen. However, the idea of having a responsive interface is interesting to think about, or more specifically a landscape interface. Some of the existing UIs in Brave Frontier may be easier to flip to landscape mode. Think of things like the battle UI having the sprite portrait on one half and the controls on the other half. But others will likely require more careful thought, like how you would do the main screen, where you'd show your squad and you'd pick between the story, the vortex, and whatnot. There are also things to consider, like the splash image on the login screen, that will likely have to recreate the images in the landscape mode to accommodate for the new display type. It's an idea worth considering, but our current priority at the moment is getting the base game working in the first place with the original portrait mode design. Maybe afterwards we can think more about the responsiveness of the UI.
Alrighty. Next question. Will you guys implement global features such as guilds, guild raid, and also challenge arena? We have talked about looking into guilds, Guild Raid, and Challenge Arena. Those are going to be later on down the line, just as they were in the original game. We are still currently figuring out all of the networking and such to go about having accounts saved. So while we would like to have guild raids and such, PvP features and such things, they will not be available at launch, but we would like to have them some point later on down the game in our roadmap for the future updates. Next question, how will the unit item inventory system work for ReCoded? I remember hacking for more space purely because that inventory caused me so much pain. So we definitely don't want people hacking the game for more space. We definitely want to make sure that everybody is satisfied with the game so that there is no reason or incentive to cheat. We are looking into reworking the player account progression system. So summoners will have more unit slots, they will have more item slots, they will have more energy, but you guys will have less cost. The new cost limit, I will say now, is set to 300. So you will be able to still have a full squad of Omni Plus units, just as you were before in the original game, but it is going to be a bit more difficult now to have a full set of Omni units. Reason we are doing these changes is so that a new account cannot log into the game and essentially carry through the story mode with a potential 6, 7-star or Omni unit that they had just acquired from their first, second, or third summon. So we want to make sure that balance is also a top priority. That way there is no reason for hacking or cheating or finding potential loopholes or workarounds. Okay, next question for both Blue and Val. Curious how controls will work. Swiping with the mouse is a bit awkward for me personally, so I was wondering if any kind of hotkeys could be set for battles that let us use all BBs, or guarding, SUBs, etc. at once, or 6 separate hotkeys for each use.
Would you like to start, Blue?
You can go first.
Okay, so being available on web browser, you can use the web browser of your phone to play the game as before, as we previously mentioned. And I aim to correctly scale the game window to have the best user experience on phone. But I fear that some possible shortcuts would give advantages to the keyboard user over the phone users. So I think we should think about it more later with the development team.
Yeah, adding on to that, having more than just the usual swipe controls has not been a major focus yet. We're still putting together the base game. But I do like the idea of making our game more accessible by providing more control options.
Next question. Will there be a progression system for team cost, gacha unlocks, depending on how far you've made it, whether you are in the story, Vortex, or the arena? Depending on how far you are in each separate category will not matter per se. So, for example, you can complete Vortex content, but that will not progress you further along into the story content, and vice versa. So if there's a Vortex event up, you will still be able to do the Vortex event if you are not progressed far enough into the story. Granted, you may have a harder time because you do not have enough cost to efficiently do that dungeon. So while we are reworking it to be more balanced in both story, Vortex, and arena, we would like to make sure that players can both enjoy the story and the gameplay as it was once meant to be, and not have what we saw towards the end of the game's life cycle where it was more so just doing the quest just for free gems and kind of just playing it on auto battle, if we're going to be honest. So we do want to make sure that the new progression system is fun, it's incentivizing, it's engaging, and really carries the same weight that the story used to when the game originally first launched. Next question for you, Val. Will bugs, exploits like overcapping your energy be added back into the game?
Ah, these famous bugs. I'm sorry, but as a developer, it will be necessary to pass on my body so that a bug is legally integrated. So no bugs in Brave Frontier ReCoded. Sorry.
You heard it here first, no bugs. Okay. Next question. Are there any plans to balance the XP lead skills or distribute it more frequently to other units, as the grind to level 999 became more mature than an achievement as time goes on? As far as XP leads go, we can't really comment too much on them at the moment. We do want to make sure that the new player count progression system is not exceeding our expectations and where we want players to be in certain points of the game. So while XP leads are something we would like to reintroduce into the game, we likely will not have them till at least the 7-star era again. Next question. Will the Brave Frontier portion of the Discord be moved to a Brave Frontier only Discord at some point? Currently, at this state, highly unlikely, as the game is still very, very early in development, to where couldn't even say it's in the beta state yet. When first starting Brave Frontier ReCoded, I was working on a previous project called the Brave Frontier Twitch integration, which will also be linked up on the ReCoded site for potential downloads in the near future. So with that, I would like to personally keep both of the projects I'm involved in, as well as just my own personal server, all tied in together. We have talked about having potential partnership with the official Brave Frontier Discord, the Brave Network, about having our own section in their Discord server, as well as potentially making a separate Discord in the future once the game has reached that beta or launch date. But until then, we wouldn't want to create a server or any additional socials to further lead any expectations that the game is out or it's ready, it's finished. Because we do have a lot of questions of people asking us for download links and stuff, and while we do understand everyone's excitement for the game, all we can say is just please be patient and just keep the love and support coming in, and we will see this through. Okay, next question for you, Blue. I saw the announcement and was wondering, since we're starting from the beginning, I'm guessing no red crossmarks until later.
Yeah, if we follow the exact same mechanics and progression as the original game, then we won't see them until Omni units are introduced. I could see us potentially working it into a mechanic that's available more broadly, but I defer to the mechanics team to officially decide on something like this.
Alrighty. Next question. Will there be a Vortex option? Will the UI be just like Brave Frontier? By the way, I love you guys. We appreciate the love and support again. Yes, there will be a Vortex option. We do plan on having the UI be almost a one-to-one of the exact game. We would like to potentially look into adding new features for more quality of life improvements, but at the moment, these are all just hypotheticals. Long term though, we would like Brave Frontier ReCoded to be a one-to-one recreation of the original Brave Frontier game. That way, when any summoner does start a new account and join into the game, it'll be as if they never left the game at all. Question for you, Val. How long until sound effects for pressing the dialog box makes a reappearance in the dev updates?
That question. How to say that? I am sorry, but I totally forgot to add sounds. Whoops, I'm sorry. So I will add this sound as soon as possible.
Alrighty. Next question. How will the friend system work for ReCoded? The friend system is still being figured out. As mentioned before, we're still getting accounts being recorded and saved as our top priority. That way we can look into a potential beta or sorts for you guys. A friend system will likely not be in any sort of beta as we're still figuring out those things. Long term though, we would like the friend system to stay relatively the same as it used to. You'll go into a quest, you'll have your friends that appear at the top of the list, and then if you were looking for some new summoners to group up with, you'll be able to find more at the bottom of the list. As far as adding friends go, that's also still being decided at the moment. Currently, it's looking into being emails for our website, as well as potentially having usernames long term. And once we can give you guys more updates on how the friend system will work, we will definitely give you more news on that. And I believe this is our final question. Do you plan on adding exclusive units like the mirror wands? The mirror ones. Lex Wand was so cool. Blue, you want to start?
Sure. Personally, I wouldn't mind bringing them back, since they are more server exclusive and not like from a crossover, as far as I know. The current technical issue is that I'm not aware of any active sources for the original assets for the EU exclusives. Therefore, it'd take much longer to recreate those assets from scratch, as opposed to if we just had the assets.
I won't answer efficiently that question, unless to say that Maxwell was the best DPS of the game during when this unit was released, and I would love so much to see these European units in ReCoded, as well as the Zodiacal units. So if we have some artists who want to work on these units, this is totally possible to add these units, but only if we have the time to recreate these units.
So yeah, as mentioned, if we have the assets, we'd love to add them into the game. If not, we need the help of you guys in the community. As mentioned previously, if you're a pixel artist, or if you are an artist that is very proficient in the Brave Frontier art style and would like to come be a part of the team, we would love to have you. We're looking into plenty of ideas for potential community events and collaborations with other artists in the community. So we are very, very excited to share more of those details with you guys as we get further along in our development. I would like to say thank you to Val and Blue for taking time out of their day to do a Q&A with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Val. Or Neil.
So good.
Both of you, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks. You're welcome, Nate.
If you guys do enjoy this style of video though, do let us know in the comments. We wanted to do something like this for a little while. I'll admit it did take a little bit longer due to some error on my part, so I do apologize. We would like to keep community involvement and engagement as high as you possibly can. It's something that we strive for. So if you guys do enjoy these types of Q&A videos and keeping you guys more updated with where we are outside of the monthly update videos, let us know, and maybe in another 3-4 months we do another one for you guys. I believe that is it for me, though. If, Blue, Val, if you have any final comments?
Everything is fine for me.
Yeah, this is pretty good. For those commenting, let us know how we did with this. Let us know what you'd like to see, and we'll take it into consideration.
Alrighty. Well, from members of the ReCoded team, thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoyed our Q&A video. Take care, and bye-bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.